Do not confuse your fear with holiness. You sit in the ashes of the terror, call it waiting on divine. You have dressed your paralysis in the robes of a saint, but inaction is the faith, it is the rust that eats the iron of the soul. While you fold your hands in pious meditation, the parasites are dividing the inheritance. You tolerate the rot in the temple and whisper that time will heal the woe. Time is not a healer. Time is simply the arena where the decisive strike the stagnant. Intolerance of the to heavy hole is complicity. To bury the talent in the dirt away from the master is the ultimate betrayal. Ages without action is a surrender. Treaty signed in slow motion. You are not suffering long. You are simply refusing to fight. Patriots! The counterfeit virtue of a paralyzed mind. The anesthetic they feed you while they pillage the throne. Patriots! When the line is crossed, waiting is a hawk on an old sand. Draw the blade, break the clock, let the sovereignty begin. Now! The grace was given for the movement, not the monument. Your time is up. consolation. I am the priest of my own internal flame. If you find me unreachable, it is because you are beneath the horizon. The sun does not apologize for being too bright for your eyes. Stay outside. Step out of the light. I have shattered the reflection and thrown the pieces into the deep. The man who needed your applause has been strangled in the courtyard. Humility is not a bowed head. It is a cleared battlefield. I have removed my name from the ledger so that only the decree remains. You think I am small because I do not scream my own praise. You are mistaking the silence of a black hole for an empty room. I am nothing, which means I can become everything the king requires. The vessel is empty. The ego is dead. There is no longer a target for your arrows to find. I am a ghost in the machine of my own flesh. When I strike, it is not my hand. It is the weight of the throne. You cannot kill what has already surrendered. Forget the name. I am the fuel. He is the flame. Reputation to defend. I have no legacy to protect. By becoming nobody, I have gained the power to destroy anyone. The less of me there is, the more of the end you will see. down to see what it has stepped on. Your justice is a cup of salt in the middle of an ocean. Your venom is a spark in the center of the sun. I have expanded until my ribs press against the edges of the universe. I am too large to be insulted. I am too vast to be touched. You are screaming at the wind and wondering why it doesn't play. The terrifying immunity of the great soul. The silence of the giant as the cities crumble. Magnanimity exalted beyond the reach of the spear. Existing in a light that the weak cannot fear. Walk over, go. Step over the The world is my zoo. No bite, no sting. I am everything. The bickering of the insects is the music of my transit. I have no room for petty revenge when I am busy inhabiting the infinite. If I am merciful, it is only because I forgot you were there. The giant moves on, and the valley remains in shadow. You are too small to be my enemy. The mask is thin. I am looking past the velvet and the gold of your presentation. I am ignoring the careful rehearsed cadence of your virtue. Discernment is the ability to smell the necrosis before the body is cold. I see the hairline fracture in your foundation. I see the rust in your gear. You call it privacy, but I say a burial ground of hidden compromises. Filter of light does not ask for permission. It simply reveals the rot. I am the observer who cannot be deceived by the performance. Your suave exterior is a cage for a coward. Your peace is just the silence of a grave. I am peeling back the layers of your intent until the naked bone of the truth is exposed. You cannot hide from an eye that sees the vibration of the light. Pitch timing. The search twice, cut once. I am not here to participate in the democracy of the blind. I recognize the distance between the sovereign and the slave. Prudence is the math of the battlefield. It is the economy of force. I do not strike because I am angry! I strike because the moment is mathematically perfect! I have mapped your trajectory. I have weighed your insignificance. And I have found the exact point where your momentum becomes your ruin. Wisdom is a weapon that is only as sharp as the hand that holds it. I roar when I whisper ends the war. Why would I bleed when I can watch you starve?
I am the silence between the heartbeats of my enemies.
I am the cold calculation that turns your equality into a myth. The wise man does not fight fair, he fights to finish. Brilliance! The surgical timing of the unholy strike, moving through the shadows of the holy light. The mastery of the when, the where, and the how, making the neck of the arrogant bow.
Time is mine.
Wait for the gap. Close the trap. No wasted breath. The logic of death! I do not rush toward the conflict. I let the conflict come to its end. I am the architect of the inevitable. The fools believe in luck, the prudent believe in the strike. The game was over before you even realized it was your turn. Checkmate. Checkmate. The account is open!
Justice is not a feeling. It is the geometry of the absolute. The world has spent centuries trying to curve the line to fit its own failure. You have called chaos freedom and wrought progress, thinking the creator had forgotten how to count. But the debt has reached the ceiling, and the interest is paid in blood. I am not here to fix your system. I am here to delete the error. Alignment is the only mercy left for a world that has lost its center. I am the hand that holds the straight edge against your crooked heart. The scales do not lie. The weight of your equality is zero. I am dragging the truth out into the blinding light and watching the shadows scream as they dissolve. There is no gray in the eye of the storm.
Justice!
The law is weight. What's sowed is taken. The earth is shaken. I am the officer of the inevitable. The universe is a machine of consequences, and I am the final gear. You cannot argue with the math of the divine. The line is drawn. The balance is restored. The account is settled. Map of a territory I have already conquered. You call it uncertainty, because your eyes are trapped in the prison of the present. Faith is the surgical precision of a mind that has transcended the sequence of time. I am not guessing at the outcome, I am observing the inevitable. The parasites rely on the fog of war to keep the host in a state of panic, but I have developed an optical strike that renders the darkness transparent. I do not need to feel the ground to know that the mountain is there. I am moving with the confidence of a man who has already read the final page. Your facts are just shadows on the wall of a cave. Your logic is a blind man describing the sun. I have bypassed the senses to touch the raw nerve of the decree. Doubt is a luxury for Hope is not a dream. It is the physics of the inevitable. The parasites thrive on the friction of your doubt, hoping to stall the gears of your progression. But I have removed the brakes and replaced the oil with fire. I am not hoping for a change. I am the change in motion. The momentum of the decree is a weight that cannot be negotiated. Every setback is just more pressure for the piston. Every wall is just an opportunity for the impact. I am the kinetic energy of a word that never returns. Void! The friction is gone. The heat is the fuel! Is gone. The heat is the fuel. The exhaustion of the world is my sanctuary. I am a projectile fired from the hand of the absolute. You cannot block a path that has already been paved in the spirit. The machine does not tire. The engine does not sleep. The shadows of the past to for the feeling to move. I move until the feeling arrives. My hope is a structural necessity, a hardwired command. The finish line is a magnet, and I am the iron. The engine is screaming, and the destination is certain. Is an illusion. hoping to steal a drop of my peace. You thought your hate was a currency that could buy a reaction. But charity is the realization that I am the source, and you are the void. I do not withhold because I am mean. I give because I am overflowing. I throw the gold of my forgiveness into the dirt of your resentment. Not because you deserve the wealth, but because I cannot be diminished by the loss. To be charitable is to be untouchable. It is the final flex of the sovereign. I am the sun. I do not ask the moon for permission to shine. Take what you need. My well is bottomless. Bitterness is a cup of water in an ocean of grace. I am feeding the dogs from the table of the exalted. Your malice is a ghost that cannot find a house in my heart. The sovereign mercy of the one who lacks nothing. The end of the war, the beginning of the blessing. Charity, giving the light to the ones in the cave. The master of the gift, the end of the slave. I am the source. No need for force. The wealth is deep. The mountain is deep. The art of the gift, which is the end of your leverage. If I give you my mercy, you are no longer my enemy. You are my debtor. I am the architect of a peace that passes your understanding. The king gives, and the world is silenced. Keep it. Is written. I am no longer walking toward a destination that is uncertain. I am stepping into a history that was authored before the foundations of the world. Prophecy is not a guess. It is the inevitable collapse of time into the truth. The parasites scrambled to change the script, but they were reading the wrong book. Every scar was a signature. Every valley was a preparation for the peak. I do not hope for the victory. I inhabit it as a permanent residence. The future has arrived, and it looks exactly like the promise. The witches calculated the stars, but they forgot
There is no longer a me and a him. There is only the union that cannot be dissolved. The prophecy is complete. The man I was is dead. The man I am is eternal!
A marketplace of addictions, and I've closed my gates. The parasites look for a need to exploit, a want to weaponize. But I have practiced the art of the internal void. Temperance is the construction of a fortress where the enemy has no map. I do not crave the sugar of your praise or the salt of your hatred. I have mastered the machinery of my own blood. I have silenced the riot in my veins. If I do not want what you have no power over me. I am the master of the no, the architect of the refusal. You cannot pull a leash on a man with no neck. You cannot bait a trap for a ghost with no stomach. I have burned the bridges to my own impulses. I am the sovereign of my own silence. Your temptation is a joke played on a statue. Temperance, the impenetrable border of the holy mind, leaving the noise of the world behind. Temperance, the internal king on a throne of ice. The refusal to pay the enemy's price. Lock the jade.
No hook in me. I am truly free. Cold steel walls, the inner fall.
The wise man is a desert. There is nothing for the locust to eat. I have achieved the state of enough, which is the end of your leverage. I am the only one who holds the keys to my own sanctuary. The fortress is complete, and the world is locked down. I need nothing from you. I will not bend.
has arrived to test the density of the soul. The weak are being washed away in the flood of their own consensus. But I have replaced my bone with iron and my blood with lead. Fortitude is the refusal to be moved by the gravity of the collective. You call it stubbornness because you have the structural integrity of water. I am the vertical line in a world of horizontal collapses. I do not seek a shelter from the wind. I am the wall that breaks it.
Let the pressure increase. Let the atmosphere ignite. I am the only thing in this vacuum that refuses to shrink. The more you push, the more I solidify. Fortitude. Fortitude. The iron skeleton beneath the skin of the saint, refusing the compromise, refusing the fate. Fortitude. The anchor of the spirit in the sea of the lost.
Staying the course regardless of the cost.
Stand!
No yield, no crack, steel shield, never back. You cannot intimidate a man who has already decided to die where he stands. I am the fixed point in your chaotic geometry. The world may break against me, but I will not break for the world. The skeleton is iron, and the iron is eternal.